What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Let's Get It Gaming Daily News with your boy Joe. We have 6 stories on the list, all of which are quite interesting, all of which are not the biggest stories that came out today, but I'll get into that later. Let's jump into story number 1. This comes from IGN's Taylor Lyles. Silent Hill transmissions, everything announced. Immediately after a jam-packed PlayStation State of Play, Konami aired a Silent Hill transmissions livestream, where the publisher shared a slew of details on the multiple Silent Hill projects currently in development. Although we did not get any details on Silent Hill F and Silent Hill Townfall, fans were treated to a new gameplay and pre-ordering details on Silent Hill 2 Remake, in addition to behind-the-scenes look at the upcoming horror film Return to Silent Hill. I wanted to throw this in there because, as I've said before, Silent Hill I'm a big fan of. I want to get more into it. I think it was cool. We did get the Silent Hill 2 reveal at the State of Play, which is awesome. And then they did an in-depth review. And you know what? I'm going to give you guys the breakdown of what the review was here, or what the gameplay was here. 13 minutes of Silent Hill 2 gameplay revealed. Following an intro message from the Silent Hill producer Moti Okamoto, the digital showcase started with 13 minutes of gameplay from Silent Hill 2 Remake. The gameplay showed off some of the early moments of Silent Hill 2, with the protagonist James Sunderland walking around in the iconic fog-ridden town. There is another glimpse of combat, with James shown fending off a lying figure in one snippet and killing a bubblehead nurse after he enters the eerie and poorly lit hospital. Konami also shared a pre-order details of Silent Hill 2 Remake, including confirmation that those who ordered the deluxe edition can play the game as early as October 6th, in addition to 48 hours early access. Silent Hill 2 Remake Deluxe Edition owners will receive the game's digital art book, soundtrack, and some in-game cosmetics. The Silent Hill Transmission also included a developed diary from Bluebird team, the studio taking point on the remake, in addition to some words from Silent Hill 2 Remake cast, including Luke Roberts, who plays James Sunderland in the remake, Salome Gundertalti, who plays James' deceased wife, Mary Shepard Sunderland, and Silent Hill 2 antagonist Maria. This was cool. It's cool. I can't wait to see more of it. I'm going to definitely be jumping into the newer Silent Hill. Maybe I'll replay the old ones. I don't know. We'll see. But either way, this is cool news. I'm glad they're bringing the Silent Hill franchise back to the world, because it is worth being brought back. So let's jump into story number 2. This comes from GameSpot's Eddie Makirch. New Fallout games are being planned, Todd Howard says. This is kind of a follow-up on a previous story I did maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. Bethesda's boss Todd Howard has confirmed that studio is planning future Fallout games. Speaking to Variety, Howard said Bethesda is always thinking about what's next in the game series, and this also applies to Fallout. These comments are not surprising, given that Howard's years ago started talking about plans for Fallout 5. Games take a good 5-ish years, so we're in plans for future games in the series, and nothing is to talk about right now, but we are always planning, he said. With the Fallout TV show winning praise from critics and a second season coming up, many are wondering if Bethesda is going to try to capitalize with the new game release. As Howard mentioned, games take a long time to make, so Fallout 5 or anything else that might come next won't be here soon. For now, though, the success of Fallout TV show has helped Fallout 76's lifetime playbase surge beyond 20 million, with older Fallout games also seeing a bump. This was cool. I know I kind of already talked about this, but I love that they're going to do more. I love that he more or less kind of confirmed there's going to be more without confirming there's going to be more. But that's awesome. I really did enjoy the Fallout TV show. I moderately enjoyed the Fallout games, and I still want to jump into Fallout 4. I think I'm going to stream it one of these days. I know. I apologize for the lackluster streams. I am trying, guys. I really, really am. It's just timing is a fickle witch, as they tend to say. But I promise we will get it going eventually, sooner than later. All right, let's jump into story number 3. This comes from IGN's Adam Bankhurst. PlayStation CEO talks live service, PC games, and more in first appearance as new bosses. Newly appointed PlayStation CEO Hideaki Nishino and Herman Holst have discussed the company's perspective on live service games, PC releases, layoffs, and much more in the first presentation as co-leaders. Nishino and Hust opened Sony's game and network service business segment presentation by boasting each PlayStation 5 sold generation over $700,000 US of additional spend, which is significantly higher than the previous generation. Controlling scope and scale without compromising on quality. To keep up a high level of game development, Holtz said PlayStation is increasing its use of external development teams, outsourcing partners, and co-developing agreements with teams in lower cost regions. He then insisted this allows PlayStation to control the scope and scale of its games without compromising on quality. AI is seemingly another way PlayStation is looking to achieve this. We also see opportunities in AI to level up our own productivity and to enhance player experience, enabling us to better serve players and creators, create new experiences, and drive organizations-wide efficiencies, Nishino said. Research our experimentation in AI and machine learning is a focus for us, Holst added. With working being done across a wide variety of our development tools and processes, we have wealth of knowledge and experiences forged from decades of gaming industry's experience that will enable us to implement AI tools efficiently and impactfully. We have been realizing the benefits of AI in several areas, from asset creation to efficiency and accelerating coding to optimizing translation and localization processes, all while ensuring a responsibility and ethical approach across organizations. We believe that AI holds great promise for the future of gaming, and we want to lead the industry in the adoption of implementation of the new technology. This is pretty crazy. This is a much more in-depth story. All right, we're going to go through this. This is going to be a little bit long. If you guys don't want to watch it through all this, you could skip ahead. But I think this is worth bringing into. I think it was a pretty extensive interview, so we're going to read through all the content that they have on this article. Research and experimentation in AI machine learning is a focus for us. Helldivers 2 paving the way for Sony's live services. PlayStation is prioritizing a mix of tentpole single-player games alongside live service games going forward, but will pull that from success of Helldivers 2 and launch all upcoming live service games on PC and PS5 simultaneously. We are bringing our titles to PC platforms, and we have a dual approach here on the live service side, Hull said. We are releasing our titles simultaneously, so day and date on PlayStation 5 and PC, but with our tentpole titles, our single-player narrative-driven titles that are, as you saw on the presentation, the backbone of what PlayStation Studios has delivered in recent years and in our history, we take a more strategic approach. We introduce our great franchises to new audiences, and we're finding new audiences that are potentially going to be very interested in playing. For example, sequels on PlayStation platforms, we have a high hopes that we're actually able to bring new players into PlayStation at a large and into PlayStation platforms specifically. Actually, the same goes for the work that we do with extending our great properties out onto other medium such as television and series film. If I'm reading this, so they are saying essentially the breakdown is that they're going to release live service games day and date to PlayStation 5 and PC. That's freaking crazy. I never even thought they would do that. That's a big step. Based off of the first game coming out, then your PC players will want to jump to PlayStation in anticipation for a new IP that their studios are going to make. Interesting strategy. Huh. That's interesting. I kind of like that idea. Huh. That's an interesting one. That's definitely an interesting way to take this. For sure. All right, let's jump into the follow-up. Speaking of the focus on delivering games outside of just PlayStation consoles, Nishio believes, rather than cannibalization this is an opportunity for growth, Hulse chimed in too. We are looking to extend the reach of our franchises by our focus on multi-platform delivery. That enables us to continue to invest these substantial amounts into creating world-class franchises. Helldivers 2 is a prime example of a strategy, and according to Hulse, it highlights the strength of our live service efforts as well as the increased returns and reach we can realize by bringing our games to new formats and audience beyond the PlayStation console. The strategy won't be the same on all different platforms, however, as the team is taking a more measured approach when it comes to mobile instead of a more aggressive one on PC. PC is obviously more adjacent to the core of our development than mobile is, Hull said. Nevertheless, we're taking a strategic approach also in the sense of working with some of the leading companies in the space. We're working with various partners such as NC Soft, and we're learning a lot from these collaborations. And let me conclude by saying that we're very excited about upcoming title releases that we can communicate in the future. Industry is a very good place despite thousands of jobs losses. In response to a question about the layoffs that have impacted the whole video game industry, including PlayStation itself, when it let go 900 people in February of 2024, Hulse insisted that industry is actually in a very good place. We're always looking to optimize the resources allocations on an ongoing basis, but I think specifically what you're referring to is the recent months and quarters is probably a slight adjustment on the back of the windfall that the industry saw during the pandemic, Hulse said. So that might be reflective of that rather than impacting the long-term growth of the industry, which I believe is in general is a very good place, but I see that this is an adjustment of the pandemic years. Alongside PlayStation job losses, Microsoft closed a number of Bethesda studios, including Redfall maker Arcane Austin, Hi-Fi Rush, the Evil Within developer Tango Gameworks, and more devastating cuts at Bethesda's early in May 2024. Layoffs might be reflective of the rather than impacting the long-term growth of the industry, which I believe in general is a very good place. Bungie. Elsewhere in the discussion, Hulse and Nishiono discussed how Halo and Destiny developer Bungie is improving its business despite several of the employees also being laid off by PlayStation in late 2023. Bungie's network operations expertise has allowed us to optimize the performance of our upcoming live service titles, which is really great, Hulse said. We expect to see the full integration of Bungie's capabilities into our business operations by the end of this current fiscal year. We can't disclose financials for individual studios in our portfolio that include Bungie, but whilst we don't expect a profit contribution from Bungie in fiscal year 24 on the standalone basis, this is obviously to do with the fact that they are working on a new IP that is yet to be released. It's really important to state that we are already seeing returns on our investments in the forms of process optimization and capabilities growth across SIE, particularly in live services, and that was always the goal behind the acquisition, that it has helped us to progress faster. It's helped us with cost optimization, and then obviously with the upcoming releases of Destiny, the final shape, and later with Marathon, we are going to see significant revenue coming into SIE. The meeting also revealed that PS5 generation is PlayStation's most profitable console to date, and the Marvel Spider-Man 2 sales have swung all the way up to 11 million units since launch. PlayStation's big week continues today, May 30th, with the premiere of State of Play. Holy crap, that was a lot of information. I know. Bear with me. I appreciate it if you made it through all that, but if you didn't, that's all right. I'll give you a quick little rundown. Essentially, what I am interpreting from this is they are going to release it sounds like they're going to release their live service games day and date from PC and PS5. They're also going to be using AI to help optimize productivity of the games they're creating. Bungie has had a very beneficial hand in creating these live service games for Sony, and even though they've had plenty of layoffs, Herman Hulse does believe that the industry is in a really good space, and that the reason that the layoffs happened is due to the costs, the financial loss during the pandemic, which I guess in retrospect can make sense. That was a lot of information, I know, but that was a super interesting story, and I'm glad I went through all that. But let's jump into story number 4. This is just a quick little one. This comes from IGN's Cap Bailey. Ubisoft forward date and time confirmed, featuring Star Wars Outlaws, Assassin's Creed, and more. The date, time, and featured games have been confirmed for Ubisoft Forward 2024. Ubisoft's annual showcase will take place on Monday, June 12th. I think it's supposed to be June 10th. Yeah, June 10th at 12 p.m. and will feature exclusive looks at Star Wars Outlaws, Assassin's Creed Shadows, X-Defiant, and other games. Assassin's Creed Shadows will be one of the marquee games during the stream, while we unpack a huge amount of what to expect from the next Assassin's Creed in our big deep dive in mid-May. There's still plenty more to see along with Star Wars Outlaws, which will also feature during the stream. It will be one of Ubisoft's tentpole releases in the latter part of 2024, bringing the series for Japan for the very first time. X-Defiant, which launched on May 21st and has reportedly gotten off to a strong start, will also be part of the stream. Beyond that, expect the annual Just Dance musical interlude and the fresh announcements of fresh announcement or two as Ubisoft sets the table for the rest of 2024 and beyond. I just want to throw this in there because I feel like with Summer Games Fest, there's all these news stories come out, and if you are interested in Ubisoft Forward, I will be doing a reaction to it, and I might be joined by a couple people. Stick around to the channel, and you might see what's coming up pretty soon. All right, let's jump into story number 5. This is more of like a honorable mention, I guess, but I didn't really know this, and I thought it was kind of worth putting in here. This comes from Insider Gaming's Mike Straw. Private Division terminates publishing deal with Bloomberg Team for Project C. Bloomberg Team is looking for new publishers for its new unannounced survival horror game known as Project C after Take-Two Interactive Private Division has reportedly canceled its publishing deal with the studio. As first spotted by Moralno on Twitter, the terms of the termination are being negotiated. Bloomberg Team is also looking for another publisher for the game, which is expected to be a brand new IP from the Polish studio. The deal between Bloomberg Teams and Private Division were signed back in September of 2021. The deal included an option for Private Division to cancel without reason, according to the Morin NLL. The cancellation comes amid Take-Two Interactive's announced plans to cancel multiple games. As of publishing, neither Take-Two Interactive or Bloomberg Team has commented on the termination. Insider Gaming has reached out to both parties for comment. Should a response be received, it'll be added to this story. I just want to throw this in because I didn't even know that they're making this survival horror game, and I am a sucker for survival horror games. I hope someone picks them up because I would love to see what they're going to come up with this Project C. It sounds cool. It sounds ominous. It sounds fun. But that's all. It was interesting. That was honorable mention, as I said. So let's jump into our 6th and final honorable mention. This comes from GamesIndustry.biz. Christopher Dring. PlayStation 5 now represents 50% of Sony's active console base. Sony Interactive Entertainment has given an update on its console business, revealing that 50% of its users are now on PS5, with the other half on PS4. In a company briefing, the PlayStation holder said that PS5 is already on the brink of surpassing the revenue of PS4, and operating income is already bigger than $10 billion. In fact, the firm says that the PS5 is the most profitable console generation so far. More fascinating statistics can be found where consumers are spending the money. The firm revealed revenue per consoles is $731 for PS5 versus $580 for PS4, which is partially due to price raises and higher tiers on games, accessories, and service this generation. Spending on accessories is up 34% on PS5 versus PS4. Services, PlayStation Plus, etc. is up 57%, while add-on content is up 176%. However, sales of games have dropped 12% over the previous generation, which speaks to the shift towards live service games and games engaging with fewer titles for longer. Elsewhere in the presentation, the firm says it's been successful in upgrading its PlayStation Plus user base. 70% of PS Plus members, PS Plus users were in the basic essential tier in the 2021 to 2022 fiscal financial year, with 13% in the middle tier, extra, and 17% in the top tier, premium. Whereas in the following year, that shifted to 65% in essential and 16% in extra and 19% in premium. In terms of its games releases strategy, Sony committed to continuing to build AAA single-player narrative games, as well as a more experimental concepts alongside its new push into live service projects. It says that live service games will launch across PC and console at the same time, while AAA single-player titles will begin on consoles and come to PC later. The firm says it hopes people will discover these games on PC will then move to PlayStation 5 to access the next game faster. This is pretty interesting. That's crazy. 50% of the base is on PS5 now, and we're just over halfway through the generation. So ideally, you would think by the end of this generation, it's going to be entirely on PlayStation, and the fact that they are the fastest growing console so far, or this console, the most profitable console, of generations so far. So that's pretty awesome. But that was a lot of numbers, not that interesting, but I like numbers sometimes when it comes to PlayStation making money. I'm just kidding. I just thought it was cool to see that people are transitioning to PlayStation, and hopefully it means better games, better quality, and more content for all of us beautiful gamers. But that is going to do it for this episode of the Let's Get It Gaming Daily News. I know this was a bit of a long one, but if you like this video and you want to see more content like it, hit that like button, give me that subscribe, hit that little notification so you know when the next video comes out. Next week, things are going to get very interesting, I think, with these news videos and maybe even some more content. Maybe we're going to jump into some multiplayer games coming up soon. We're going to do maybe a little review cast we got coming up soon. We're going to do some SGF reactions and reviews, and I think a lot of fun stuff for the channel coming up. So if you managed to make it to the end of this video, I appreciate it. And if you did notice, I did say we, that is alluding to me and maybe some fellow gamers. But until then, thank you all for watching. And remember, I love you, I appreciate you, and I respect you. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace! And keep on gaming.